Earlier today, a federal grand jury returned an 18-count superseding indictment charging New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell and former New Orleans Police Department officer Jeffrey Paul Vappy II. They are charged with a series of fraud, obstruction of justice, and false in a nearly 3-year fraud scheme that we allege exploited their public authority and positions. The indictment alleges that in October of 2021, Mayor Cantrell and Jeffrey Vappy, a member of her executive protection team, developed a personal, intimate relationship. From that time until Mr. Vappy's retirement in June of 2024, they embarked on a scheme to defraud the City of New Orleans and the New Orleans Police Department. By exploiting Vappy's job and Cantrell's authority as mayor to have the city and the New Orleans Police Department pay Vappy's salary and expenses during the times that Vappy claimed to be on duty, but when he was actually engaged in personal activities, usually with Ms. Cantrell, but sometimes alone at the Pontalba apartment. The indictment further describes the many steps that Cantrell and Vappy took to hide their scheme.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Developing Dad Podcast. I'm your host, and we're going to talk today about a variety of topics, but we're going to start with New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. If you could like the video on your way in, thanks to everyone who is tuning in. We're going to weave together this narrative that could it be possible that Donald Trump is going to save Black America from itself? Now, we're starting with New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell because she's one of many black mayors, black female mayors, in the United States that is corrupt and unfit and unfortunately not going anywhere anytime soon. All right. All right, so let's listen in to the video so we can see. We already listened into the video, but we saw that there were multiple accounts, multiple indictments and charges. But let's look at some of the key details from the indictment. Charges and allegations. Mayor LaToya Cantrell federally indicted on 18 counts, including, right, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, obstruction of justice, making false statements, and false declarations before a grand jury. This has been a long investigation. It started in 2023, 2024, I believe, when they started investigating them. Obviously, if you live in New Orleans, as I do, you've been following this story, maybe with a lot of interest, maybe with passing interest, but you've been aware that she has been accused of improper use of a city hotel, that she has been alleged to have improper relationship with Vappy. And all of this was going on while she was married because her husband passed away recently. I can't remember the exact date, but this is obviously, if you're not in the if you're not in New Orleans, this may not be something that you've been following very closely. But LaToya Cantrell is no stranger to conflict or to accusations of impropriety or illegality. So she went into the office being accused of tax liens and improper use of funds while she was on the city council. So again, I look at this and I think, why are we surprised when this has been her MO since before she was elected mayor. We're not surprised by this, and we shouldn't be surprised by any of these so-called black first mayors that are just as wicked as anyone else you could put up. These people want power, they want to be connected, and they just look, y'all already know. This is why they get into politics.
I just want some money.
They just want some money. This is a grift, just like so many other things out there. Politics is a way for those who are unwilling to work hard, right? Because a lot of these people that get into politics, they're not going to work hard because there's access to money. Look at what she did. She was using taxpayer dollars that are always accessible because they're always taxing us to fund her lavish lifestyle. The Tiffany Henyards of the world, the LaToya Cantrells of the world, the city girl mayors. These women get into power and they behave the same way they behaved before they got power. They again just want.
I just want some money.
They just want some money, and they're going to claim all of their education and the like, and they're going. You are lesser than they are, and they're going to rule over you, and they're going to do things the way that they've always done them. Shady back alley dealings. This is what they do, and the saddest part about Black America is that we're excusing this. We pretend that these people want what's best for the Black community when all they want to do is milk your tax dollars and essentially get their 40 acres and a mule off your back. Right? This is what they're doing. They're taking advantage of the Black citizens that voted them in to milk those people's tax dollars for their betterment. Now, New Orleans has a history of this, and I even went through it just to kind of show you what we're just used to it. But this is LaToya Cantrell's pre-election issues and concerns, right? Credit card use on the city council. This was prior to her being elected. She was already doing things that were shady, right? Significant tax liens. Right. Then we tried to recall her, but couldn't get enough signatures because of the voter apathy here in New Orleans. People just don't care. We've gotten to the point where we realize that no matter who we put in, things aren't going to change. So we've got multiple candidates now running, and they may not be as scandalous as LaToya Cantrell was going in, but we're finding out more day by day that these people are not for the public's best interest. So New Orleans is just another in a long line of Democrat-run cities that there's a separation between the haves and the have-nots, and the haves are going to continue to have, and the have-nots are going to continue to be less and less significant in the running and the running of the city, what the city looks like from a political standpoint. There's so many people here who are tired of New Orleans politics, but they don't really say anything or do anything or become active in it because of the apathy, because they're just assuming that, well, the powers that be would never let someone who actually wanted to change the status quo into the race. You have to, if you want to be a city council member, a mayor, or whatever police chief, whatever position you want, you have to bow down to the powers that be. You cannot be radical. They're going to go. There is a barrier to entry for anyone who would actually change things. And so apathy continues to grow. And so you almost become numb to the reality that the Mayor Cantrell, well, we're just going to get another one just like her. So let's just, why are we fighting this losing battle? Now, she's actually in a long line. Let's look at this. I actually went through it, right? So Mayor Ray Nagin, charges in 2014. We got William Jefferson, U.S. Congressman, convicted in 2009, 11 counts of bribery, including bribery, racketeering, money laundering. Cleo Fields. We've got plenty of, I mean, Louisiana politics is it's corruption in Louisiana politics is just a well-known fact, right? And so we New Orleans is no different. Now, she's been indicted, thankfully, but she served 2 terms. So she's on her way out. She got to milk the taxpayers for all that she could with this scheme that she concocted with Vappy. And now she's on her way out. Maybe disgraced, but she was disgraceful and disgraced prior to going into the let me show you. Prior to going into office. All right. So let's take a look at this. We're going to look at the like, this is a woman who doesn't really have any honor or shame about her, right? This was her at Mardi Gras, right? Criticism of her leadership has been really disrespectful. What could have driven us to be so harsh? This was her at Mardi Gras. The mayor of your city flipping off floats as they pass by. This is who we elected. So, right? I mean, we deserve her. I always say that. We deserved her. Let's listen in. Let's look at this.
She is accused of federal crimes. Back to you.
All right, we have added another expert. We have a starting 5 out here now. We have Silas Lee from Xavier University.
And asked for her, and it was on some stupid shit. She was sounding off with it.
Something while they were talking about the indictment.
All right, so we do have a team of analysts here to go through the indictment with us. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. Reading through this has made my head spin.
While going through the political analyst had his phone on speaker and somebody was talking trash. Kind of like today in church, we had somebody whose phone was just ringing during the sermon. Just ringing. What's going on, Roger Dodger? What's happening? Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. If you could, when you come in, say hello. Oh, thank you. Yes, so we are. I mean, now let's talk about the fact that she was having an affair with Vappy. That's not illegal, right? Now, in a godly nation, that would be, but we don't live in a godly nation. So, but it is an indictment of her character that she would commit adultery with one of her bodyguards. But again, because we have actually seen LaToya Cantrell's character on display for years. She went into the office with scandal. The only reason that she was elected was because people were in that mindset that it was finally time for New Orleans to have a female mayor. I'm going to put aside the fact that Isaiah 3:12 tells us that that's a bad idea. If you're going to choose a female mayor, why wouldn't you choose someone upstanding who would represent the people well, represent black women well? Why would you choose her? Someone who had a history of dealing harshly and ineffectively with city business leaders and the like, being intractable, rude, dishonest, because she went in with tax issues. Why would you choose that person? But the problem is, her opponent wasn't much better. So South Park says you have the options between I ain't going to say it, but But the idea is that you really don't have a good choice here in New Orleans, right? And so we're not surprised. I'm not surprised. Now you can actually see the photos tell the story, right? This is them, she and Vappy going into the apartment, city funded apartment, having lunch. Look at that face. That's the face of somebody in the smoochies, right? They're doing the smoochies. Look at them. Look at them. Look, oh, the bug. Right? So this is what we had to. We're paying for this. We're paying for this as New Orleans citizens, and we're not the only ones. Because these city girl mayors, these black mayors who go into office with scandal, go into office seeing the dollar signs, go into the office with,
I just want some money.
just want some money, right? Go into office blaming the white man,
put
right?
y'all back in chains.
For everything. Make sure you don't vote for the white man because they're going to put y'all back in chains. Republicans are going to put y'all back in chains, right? Y'all want to know? Look at this. I'm going to show y'all something. List of, let's go here. List of mayors of New Orleans, right? This is your list. All right, where is it? Yes. Look over here, all right? We're going to go here. We'll go all the way down to the bottom, all right? So this is Cantrell right here, right? LaToya Cantrell, okay? She's a Democrat, all right? Let's go back all the way through the list and see when we can find the last Republican. Let's see. Oh boy. Oh, there you go. Red. 1872. Benjamin Flanders. I wonder if he's related to Ned. Yeah. So you had your blue, red. Nah, man. It has been all blue in New Orleans so you can't blame the problems in New Orleans on the Republican Party because they have not had power for almost, it was like 150 years. Yeah. You really can't. You can't blame it. You can't blame it on the red. So who do we blame in New Orleans, right? Who do you blame in D.C.? Who do you blame? Baltimore, Oakland. Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit. Now, I'm leading in to that story with this story, okay? One of the reasons why we have this, let's do this before we switch. Because LaToya, we talked about LaToya like 20 minutes. We talked about LaToya, all right? So there's this movement going on, all right? Everybody knows that Trump has been dealing with the situation in D.C., right? Sending in the National Guard. Now we've got America, black Americans, asking Trump to come and save their city. What's going on, Brother Chuck? Let me do something real quick. Let me close it. Get somebody. All right. What's going on, Brother Chuck? McDonald Carey said it best. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives, right? What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. If you could comment and like the video, that would greatly help the situation with the algorithm. Y'all know how we do. I know it's been a while since I've been on. Now, so let's listen to this young man from Chicago.
Hey, Trump, you need to bring the National Guards to Chicago, man. You got kids killing kids, man. That's not good, man. Washington, D.C. is not much going on compared to Chicago, man. I'm running. It's a war happening right now in Chicago, man. Hey, Hey, look, man. Look, go on the news. Go on the news. Or go on Google, type Chicago. I'm going back home to Africa, man. I can't. Too much going on, man. In Chicago, man. Real.
Oh, thank you, brother Chuck. Thank you. All right, welcome, Happy Mac, Roger Dodger, Chuck, Happy Mac. Thank you. Blessed Sunday to you all. Yes, yes. All right, Kevin Kevs, and why not? Right. So, now what do I mean by that? Okay, so you've got people. This young man is saying, "Hey, Trump, come to Chicago, man. Y'all, everybody knows about Chicago. They call it Chirac. The YNs in Chicago are proud of the fact that their city is well known for what it's well known for, right? Now, how can you save a group of people that don't want to be saved, right? Thank you. Now, is Trump saving Black America? Let's think about this for a second. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Let's look here. All right. So this young lady in DC, okay, after the National Guard said, let's listen in.
Finally able to chill at a red light with my window down, not worried about if one of them young niggas is coming. Riding through the city, feeling more safe than I ever felt.
So guys, here's a shocker. Y'all know Black people, there are Black people out there that don't like all the violence that YNs perpetrate on the community, and they're grateful when laws are enforced. There are a lot of us out here, and we're like, that we're raising our children, loving our wives. We're avoiding trouble, avoiding places where YNs or criminals congregate. We just go to church, try to run our businesses, do our jobs. It's a lot of us out here. And all we want is for the police to do their job, protecting us, the government to do the job to protect its citizens, to not allow illegal immigrants into the nation, to artificially inflate the housing prices and the grocery prices and everything else around us, and then keep us in constant fear of our daughters being graped by some random, illegal immigrant who hasn't been vetted and is just walking around looking to take advantage of people. We essentially, there are a lot of Black people who are just wanting to live like an everyday American. Now, of course, we're called coons and sellouts and Uncle Toms and the like. But there are many of us. And this young lady, she may not be that, but she also likes peace and comfort. She likes being able to stop at a red light and not be robbed. Who knew that there are multitudes of Black people that don't like to be robbed by YNs? Wow. Guys, I didn't know if y'all knew that. But why more of us need to speak out against this and not make excuses. Oh, they just had a rough upbringing. So essentially you're saying that they're excused because of their upbringing. They don't know no better. Oh, they're incapable of understanding right from wrong. Well, that ain't what I said. It is what you said. We gotta let them vent their frustrations with the situation of the slavery and all this, the Jim Crow and everything. Most of these kids don't even know about that. They just want to be lawless. It's a complex situation where we have to weave the tapestry of education and the like, and make sure that these young men understand that they're valued and loved and everything. And I'm like, well, we could also punish offenders for violent crimes and deter them from doing it with harsh sentencing. We could do that too. That might work. We could stop treating them with kids' gloves And if they're going to commit adult crimes, they should get adult punishments. I don't know. Thank you, Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Blue Vidette, thank you for tuning in. Brother Derek Franklin is in the house. Hey to you too, brother. Yes, I know, right? A little safety and accountability. It's amazing, ain't it? Right? You from Chirac? I did not know that. He said he got out in 1995 and haven't looked back. Go ahead, brother. You're like, I'm out. Right? He's like, run, Derek, run. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. What did you say? You say, I was suckered by this black woman who had no beef with me except I was security and not looking. Reported it to a cop and they didn't do anything except give me a victim report. Chicago doesn't care. There it is. Green-eyed lady, welcome. Robert Thomas, Sec K, welcome. All right, CT Atlas, right? Yes, they're just kids. Them babies. Them babies out here. Babies? Are we serious? Babies? So these babies out here robbing people, okay, at gunpoint. All right. So there's this. Let's check out what some of these babies. What these babies are doing. Hold on 1 second. Let's see this. Let's look at this. Look what some of these babies are doing. Hold on. I'm gonna get to that one. All right. These babies out here. Look at these babies. Yeah. Get out the car. Give me the keys. Get out the car. Look at these babies. Follow us. Get out the car. Give me the keys.
Hey, Lauren,
Get out
quick,
gang. What the fuck is you doing? You want to die? Get out the way. Get out the way. Right now. Get out that bitch. Get out the way. I'm smoking. Get over there. Hey, what's in your pocket? Y'all see what's in his pocket? See what's in his pocket.
See what's in his pockets, gang. See what's in them pockets, gang.
You ain't got to see them pockets.
You're gonna get it lit.
Hello? Look at them babies. They stopped a man on the road, right? Armed with rifles, stop an elderly man's car in the middle of the road and rob him of it. Get out the car. Do you want to die? What are we supposed to do with what are we supposed to say about this? Them babies? That's what we're saying? We're saying these babies. Oh. Right? Them babies. I don't know. So let me get to some of these comments. So we're going to see what right. I know. Yeah, it is. It may seem like that, right? That's one of the reasons why I think my channel exists, is to speak out against these things. And I'm going to talk about this for a second, right, Robert, before I get to some of the other comments, because I think my wife and I were actually discussing this the other day. One of the reasons why many black people are afraid to speak out I think it's multifaceted, but I think it boils down to this. The black community believes that ideologically, we are supposed to move in lockstep. And that any departure from that lockstep movement, essentially what is voting Democrat, et cetera, like keeping all our problems in-house. Right? I've even had discussions with people about this. That someone mentioned to me that he doesn't like Thomas Sowell, a black man, mentioned that he doesn't like Thomas Sowell because Thomas Sowell airs our dirty laundry out to white people. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me that the internet exists, World Star Hip Hop exists, but Thomas Sowell discussing from an intellectual standpoint the problems of the black community is a bridge too far? So you're not upset about World Star Hip Hop. You're not upset about all of the behaviors. You're upset about a black man calling them out in front of white America. You're not afraid of people recording it and doing it in front of white America. You're upset about Thomas Sowell calling out the nonsense. That's a part of the problem. The problem is we want not unity. They want uniformity in thought. And then they also do not want you to deviate from that thought or embarrass or discuss. I guess the actions aren't embarrassing, but the calling out of the actions is an embarrassment to the community. And so there's this mindset, this hive mindset that black people raised you. Black people did all of these things for you. And you should never speak ill of another black person, regardless of whether or not they're doing something extremely embarrassing or disgraceful or dishonorable. You shouldn't say anything about it. And that is a real mindset. You could see it over in the comments. I'm going to be called all kinds of names. The same names, you know, House, N, Coon, Uncle Tom, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to be called all of these names because I dare to do the one thing that a black person, the one sin that a black person can commit is to not praise another black person. No matter what. Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, whoever, they can sell WAP. They get money though. Degenerate rap, degenerate movies, degenerate behavior, but they get in the bag, right?
I just want some money.
That's all. That's all that matters. They could have no virtue, but the only thing that matters is the love of money. So if black people are getting money, then it's all good. And so you have that mindset, and you have the slave wranglers that gonna try to keep you on that plantation, right? They're gonna come in, they're gonna try to shame you into, you know, they're gonna try to talk about your appearance, about whatever it is, whatever they can find to try to get you off your game. And so that's why you see a lot of black people staying quiet, because here's the thing. They want access to black women, and black women hold that special place where if you like black women, and most black women are liberals, and most black women will tell you they ain't messing with you if you ain't falling in line with the black community, then black men will be quiet. If you want access to black culture and you like black music and you like all this type of stuff, well, they're going to say, well, you're not authentically black, right? Because they're going to tell you straight up to your face.
And you ain't black.
That's why Joe was able to say that with little to no pushback. Imagine a white man, an old white man who authored the 94 crime bill, who said he didn't want his children playing with, growing up in a racial jungle, says this.
And you ain't black.
While running for president and still gets 90+% of the black vote. Imagine the mental slavery that you have to be under in order to hear those words, see them come out of his mouth, and still vote for him for president. Because he did this, right?
They're going to put you all back in chains.
He reminded that the Republicans are going to put y'all back in chains, physical chains. We just got y'all minds, and we have y'all in mental slavery. Pay no attention to that, right? Pay no attention to the mental slavery that the Democrats have you on. No, you better make sure that you watch out for that, for the back in chains. They're going to put y'all back in chains, right? That's what the Republicans are going to do. And so that's why so many black people are afraid to speak up. And that's why we're in a situation where there has to be a firm hand. You have to have the National Guard coming in. You have to have the federalization of the DC police force in order to clean up the streets and make it safe for black people, majority black people, to live in safety. Because these black mayors like LaToya Cantrell, the Brandon Scotts, name them, Tiffany Henyard, whoever, Muriel Bowser, name them all. What's that? Brandon Johnson. Name them. They don't care about black people. They just like Kamala.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
They're not interested in that. They just,
Open my door.
Sorry, that's the wrong one.
I just want some money.
They just want some money. And they're going to milk black people for money. They are the elite, the bourgeoisie, right? The boule. Call them whatever you want to call them. But their job is to take black people's money and to keep them quiet, like Margaret Sanger said. Well, we're going to get some black preachers to make sure that if anybody starts asking questions about us wanting to exterminate, we're going to use the black preacher. Why do you think so many black people speak that with that same cadence? Because the cadence, that preacher cadence, resonates with black people. Even Jasmine Crockett gets into it when she gets to talking. Right? This is black community, black culture. And you see it happen. So you're going to see it they're going to call you all kind of coon, all kind of sellout, all kind of everything. So that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of black people staying quiet. I know that went long-winded, but that was a really important point that I had to camp out on that one for a second. Yes. All right. All right. So we got someone to track. Welcome. Light Dweller. Welcome. All right. What's going on? Yes. Let's see. We got so many people. All right. Yes. Oh man, we got so many things. Oh man, so many. I know it's been a while, but thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Right. So I know so many different things. Yeah. So a toilet flush sound. I don't know. Wait, I can find one. I don't have one in my yeah. So thank you to everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate you all. If you could like the video on your way in. I know I was camping out on Robert's point because it's so important. You'll see more and more black people actually speaking out, but unfortunately it's not enough, right? There need to be more of us just openly admitting, look, that this is a good thing, that law and order is being established in DC, and we should probably demand that our Democrat politicians in these majority black cities do the same. It's not rocket science. If you want these YNs to get in line, you've got to have a strong hand. You have to. We're so far gone now where you can't coax them back into right living. No. The laws need to be harsh sentencing. Laws being enforced. That's the way to do this. And yeah, I don't know. So let's listen into who is this? Let's see. Let's listen in. Yes, to this young lady here. It's a longer clip, but hold on one second. It's a longer clip. We'll listen to the beginning of it because she kind of debunks some of these myths that we're hearing about the Democrat DC's lower crime rates.
I don't know if I should be saying this on the internet, but as someone who lives in DC, people in DC do not really care that Trump deployed the National Guard.
Most people are quiet or like, or are literally like, thank God.
The only people I've seen outraged are people from other states. People in DC, quiet. I worked in a local election a few months ago. Mind you, this is a place that voted 90% for Kamala. And by far, the biggest issue for people was crime. People didn't care about anything else. People were going ham. I went to so many forums and people were like, what are you going to do about these badass kids? Lock them up and throw away the key. My personal favorite was, if they want to play with guns so much, send them to fucking Afghanistan. A lot of you probably are sitting there thinking a few different things. Number one, you're probably thinking is, oh, this is what the problem with gentrifiers is. Like, white people move to a city and complain about crime. No, the district I was working on was a primarily black district, like 80%.
And no, I cannot speak for all of DC, but the group I am noticing this with is not a monolith. And when I noticed this, I even hit up some local politicians I know to make sure I wasn't tripping. I was like, wait, is it just me or does no one care? They're like, our constituents are happy.
Mind you, like, I was born and raised here. Like, somebody was unalived on my front lawn when I was a child, and now the house is worth $1.4 million. And these are people who are just like that. Like, these are residents who are fucking tired. And don't mistake this video as me saying I'm for what he's doing. Again, everyone in my circle is extremely liberal. So a big thing I did on that political campaign was crime stats, and they were staggering, they were frightening. And I know MSNBC was fact-checking Trump, and they said that crime was down 30%. That is a little deceitful. Violent crime is down 30%, and they're only counting homicide as violent crime, and I've never seen anyone do that. Like, that is deceitful, and this is not me saying, like, oh, they are justified, but it's more so, like, the numbers are deceitful. Like, I'm not scared of getting shot. I'm scared of them taking away my jacket. Like, I have a Canada Goose from literally 2014, and my friend's like, nobody wants to steal your 2014 Canada Goose. I'm like, they will. But yeah, no. FBI data, which they're using, is broken down into violent crime and property crime. And they're like assault, battery, homicides, robberies, and one more, or like, I don't even know if robberies are violent crime.
All right, so she goes on for another 2 minutes, but essentially what she's saying is she knows a bunch of blue voters who are not worried that Trump deployed the National Guard. And she's from D.C. And these people are Kamala voters. And their biggest issue was crime in D.C. People in D.C. are not up in arms about this. They want it should be no surprise that people want to feel safe. Whether they go about it, with their own pew pew, or they want the government, or a combination of both, the government to respond and to make sure that their neighborhoods are safe. That lawlessness, that you're not putting repeat offenders back out on the street over and over and over and over again, so that they recognize, I probably will get, a day or two in jail, and then I'm going to be out so I can go back and do what I was doing before. People like safety. Maybe you like lawlessness and crime. You like that? You like that being you like not being able to stop at stop signs for fear of being carjacked? You like that? Do you like that? That's really the question. Do you like that? Right? Right? I'm just asking. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe some of you really do like that. Maybe you want to continue to see neighborhoods that were once vibrant and, he said that's life, good and bad. So just go ahead on. There you go, guys. Right there. Right. Wow. Where's that one? Well, we got to find, where's my sound for that one? There it is, right there.
You can't make this up.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's life, good and bad. That's life. That's it. That's what he says. Nothing we can do about it, right? No strong stance should be taken. Hey, why not? Hey, let's open up the borders and allow everybody in. Whether criminal, we got criminality in all of our cities. Why not let in some more, at the southern border, right? Because that's what we do in America. That's what we do, right? We just turn the other eye, turn a blind eye to it, right? That's it. Okay. While black people are actually suffering in neighborhoods, black people who actually want to achieve are having to deal with lawlessness in their communities. You're just like, well, you know what? It is what it is. Y'all just got to deal with it. Y'all are tax-paying citizens, but you just have to deal with criminality and YNs doing whatever they want to do in your community. Okay, great. Right? Thank you. See? Brian Kelly says, I'm from D.C. and I'm cool with the extra police on the street. This is not life. Whoever said that is right. Nobody wants to be looking over their shoulder all the time. Man, let me not say nobody, because maybe there are some people out there. But the vast majority of people do not want to have to worry about going to the gas station and dying. They don't want to have to stop at a red light and head on a swivel. Some people like law and order. Yes, they like it. Dun, 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 dun. I don't have the theme song, but I'll just do it. Right? So now, I mean, the title right here is meant to get people talking, right? Now, I'm not saying that he's saving Black America, but could he actually be instrumental? Because we've got the young man from Chicago asking him to send the National Guard there. Oakland. There's so many places, right? Let's listen to old Gavin Newsom. Could Trump be the one to save it, right? Exactly. That's it. Traveling too. You said it. You said it. Without law, those are your options. Those are your options. Law and order or chaos. I mean, it seems like some of these people just want chaos. Yeah, look, somebody said Detroit needs it, right? Chicago needs it. Yeah. Right? I don't know. Here it is. Exactly. Caleb said, right. That's what the government's role is. For the government's role is to be a minister, right? The avenger who brings the sword down on the one who would do evil. That's its whole purpose. It's the ministry of the government under God's covenant, right? With
that people are leaving in droves, businesses are leaving, and it's just gotten to a point where no one is comfortable.
Putting the lid on it. What do you mean?
Well, just we've been saturating with the CHP and others supporting local law enforcement. They're wildly understaffed. They're not doing any pursuits. They're not we're not prosecuting even people that are being arrested. And you got folks. I mean, I had a member of my staff. Now listen to this. A member of my staff with her daughter, and a gun was put to the kid's head in the stroller to take the diapers. I mean, at what point do I say, okay, that's the kind of stuff like that's where you.
But he allows, this is coming from the governor of California, where there are cities that will not prosecute theft under $900, right? Or is it under $1,000? This guy, this is insane. This is insane. And he's going to run for president. He's going to get in, he's going to be a part of the Democrat primary process. He's going to run. He has made California, for many, unlivable. They're just heading for the hills, leaving, going to Texas, going to Florida, just fleeing. I don't know. I don't know what people expect. Democrats seem to desire lawlessness. When Democrats get into power, right? They're soft on crime. They open the borders, and they continue to flood the nation with horrible ideologies and practices that make life virtually unlivable for those of us who are trying to conserve true, beautiful, and good things. Okay. And then Republicans get in, and they promise that they're going to change things. They rarely do. It's one of the reasons why Trump was the first Republican I ever voted for. And unless if they keep platforming Zionist, he'll be the last Republican I ever vote for. Because I was voting for Democrats and then did third party, and then the second time Trump ran, I voted for him, and then the third time he ran, I voted for him. But I'm not a straight Republican voter. I never will be. I'm always going to assess the issues and see where the country is, and then send my vote to the person that I think can help to make things better. Right? Now, ultimately, I look at it as the government's job is to protect the citizens and allow them to do what's right during their time in office. And what do I mean by that? Close the border. An open border hurts the economy. It hurts crime rises. There's so many things that are wrong with it. We have ideological shifts. We have people that are coming into the country who don't share American values, and they just want to leech off of the system and send their money back to their country. We've seen multiple instances of this. So close the border. keep America for Americans. Those people who believe in the system. We have enough people here that want to subvert the system. We don't need an extra 1,000,000 to 10 that are going to help subvert. It's not necessary. We've got enough people who want to just milk the system and don't want to work hard. So we don't need any more. But protecting the border. Now, that's one thing. Federally, protect the borders. Make sure that, other countries can't take, overtake overtake America, invade America, and turn us into a, slave state, whatever you want to call it. So, right, if China wants to invade us, well, no. Federal government, make sure that doesn't happen. Then at the state level, protect our natural resources, protect our government, make it so that if we're transacting business in this state, it can be profitable. Local government, make sure that on my street, I don't have to worry about somebody coming in and taking my home. Now, I'm going to protect my own home, but if lawlessness is allowed to reign, then I'm going to have to worry about doing that more often than not. But a strong police force is important. Don't overtax me. Things like that. So each level of government has its role and function in protecting the citizens. Now, when the government won't do that, then we have to worry about head on a swivel, like in D.C. Local government isn't protecting, right? Oh, so now we got to send in the National Guard. Now we got to federalize the police department. Now we've got Chicago asking to do the same thing. We've got other cities saying, hey, look, we're suffering too. We need you to do the same thing over here, Trump, right? So, $1.99 from Brother Derek Franklin. Thank you for the super chat. Everybody who's here has to go. It's that simple. Everybody, now you got to make sure that you qualify that. I know what you're talking about, though. Every illegal immigrant. He said everybody that's here. So we about to vacate. Okay, everybody got to go, Brother Derek Franklin. Right. Somebody said in the that I have an OF account. I don't even allow that site to come through my router, much less have an account. Never been on the site. So that's insane that people just assume that as a male in this society that you're addicted to corn, right? That you're just like everybody else. No, there's some of us who are married and happily married and are fulfilled and are fulfilling their wife, right? We just do that. There's some of us that exist like that. Not everybody. It lacks self-control like you, guy. All right. Yes, illegally. Everybody's here. Thank you for the clarification. I was like, man, we all got to go. Brother Derek Franklin, we all got to go. Oh, man. Yes. Yep. So, right. Yeah. Well, look at this. We don't care. So they almost $1 billion per year in taxes. So what? Still deport them. We don't care if they pay tax. So what? Yeah, we don't. Still deport them. I don't think y'all understand. If they're here illegally, they should not be here. Even if they pay taxes. That is not a reason to subvert the law or to break the law. I mean, yeah, right. Right. What do you disagree with, First Lady? Right. If you've been here for more than a few episodes, you wouldn't call me that. You wouldn't call me a mega cultist, but I understand. Most people can't think outside of those binaries, right? That if you don't, right? I get it. It's hard sometimes to think about things that not resort to the bifurcation fallacy, either or. I get it. But no, we're not cultists here. I praise Trump for things that he does well, and I spent almost an entire month discussing the Epstein saga and how it is a black mark on his presidency that needs to be addressed, and it needs to continue to be demanded from his supporters. Because, and I'm going to make this argument again, whether Trump is in the files or not, we understand that there's a PDF file ring of prominent, powerful people that's still in power, that is working in the shadows to subvert the will of the American people, that a lot of this is connected to Zionism, and how that ideology has permeated American politics and American theology, and Epstein's connections to Mossad and to Israel, that all of that is tied in to the issues that are plaguing America and the America First movement. Because the America First movement has now been hijacked, or maybe it always was hijacked, by the Israel First movement. And those of us who are not Zionist hate everything about the Zionists that are, or the Zionism that is essentially the Zionism that is essentially pervaded and permeated our governmental system and is making decisions on behalf of the American people. So I don't know if anybody can be called a Trump cultist if they want all of that to be exposed, whether or not it makes Trump look bad. And the fact that Trump won't expose it is a black mark on his presidency, right? So, yeah. Now, and I just put that in there for the chat if anybody wants to see what the definition of Zion. Yeah, Obama did not help black people. Obama's presidency is one of the reasons why, well, not one of the reasons why, it was the main reason why Trump got elected. Yeah. Obama could have cemented, he could have, if he had if he had been a centrist, like he ran, and not a far left loony like he governed, he could have cemented the presidency for the Democrats for at least another 2 terms, at least. But he opened the door wide for Donald Trump to kick it in 2016, because he didn't do anything for Black America. He went really hard for LGBTQ, but he didn't do anything. And again, this is the question, right? This is also another question. Because when I say America is being saved, like Donald Trump is saving Black America, right? It's obviously a play to get people to, to react to it and to make conversation. But there's a real sense in which the Black community has to save itself, because it has to police its own ranks. Let me, here we go. We're going to do this. Yes. I forgot. I saved this video. Listen to this. Right? Who's it? All right. It's actually, look, it's actually YOU''RE. you are insane. Because my insane, that's a possessive. Yeah. It's a grammar tip. All right, let me look at this. Yes. All right, hold on one second. Oh boy, I'm looking at this. Yes. Yeah, look, I was waiting for this one. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for that comment. I was like, who was going to Jesus?
Grocery store is closing in Kansas City.
Sorry, who was going to Jesus juke first? Right? Who was going to be the first to Jesus juke? Y'all remember that from back in the day, right? When someone would say something and you Jesus juke them, like you one up them by saying, you know, Jesus is the only one who does that, right? Yes, we know. Super Christian. Right? All right. So let's listen in. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about this situation. Let's see. All right. What's going on, Pro? What? All right. What's happening? Let's see. Okay. So now this is what we're going to talk about with regard to the economy, with regard to socialism, how you can try as best you can to do what's good by a people governmentally, but you cannot change a community that does not want to police its own ranks and to hold itself accountable. That was the whole point of America. You can't have a constitution or a government by the people and for the people if the people are immoral and wicked. You can't. It's just not going to work. All right, listen.
Grocery store opening in Kansas City pretty soon. It's called Community Groceries. KSHB 41's Grant Stevens shows us how it could help cut down costs and food waste.
Building a grocery store is not a novel idea, but upending a traditional price structure, stocking the store with produce grown locally, prioritizing accessibility over bulk, that's new.
I mean, obviously, you would not reinvent the wheel if you didn't think it was broken.
That is correct.
Right?
Community Groceries owner Courtney Lee says there are several broken spokes on that wheel. The first being supply.
We want the community to know each other. We want the community to be fed by each other.
VP of Operations and Community Partnerships, Bethany Steck, is well connected with the local gardens and farms close by. It's where she plans on finding produce to stock shelves.
I really just want to feed people.
That second broken spoke, affordability.
Why does everything have to always be bought in bulk?
Lee says the majority of people who live in this area are single, meaning they might be wasting food and money buying portions they can't use. Groceries in the area near 35th and Trish can get expensive, and there aren't many options to buy fresh local produce. Which brings us to the third broken spoke.
Affordable is one thing, but accessible is another.
They chose this site specifically. Lee says this store fills an accessibility gap. The thousands of people who live within a mile of here can't always get across. Figuring all this out, the test sites, the price calculations, analyzing patterns and demographics to make this new kind of store work has been a challenge, but it's one they're up to.
To me, it's not a challenge to help support my friends and to support my neighbors.
I'm told 90% of the work on that store is done. They're hoping that final 10% is finished up for a soft opening sometime in August. In Kansas City, Grant Stevens, KSHB 41 News.
Now, a few years later.
And a surprise to customers and neighbors today. The Linwood Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect officially closed this morning. Now, this is a story we've been following for weeks now. That store has struggled since it opened, finding it difficult to turn a profit and dealing with crime in the area, keeping customers away.
Absolutely. So we've listened to the voices of neighbors and employees who shared their concerns about that store.
A lot of people hanging out, drinking, drugging, having sex, going to sleep.
It's just people have to feel safe to come inside the doors. And if they don't feel safe to come in, then it means that we may not have a job here in the next 90 days.
The store was first brought to our area as a solution to a food desert. Now, since it opened in 2018, the city has spent time and money to help pay the store's bills and deter crime.
And today we also heard from Quentin Lucas, the mayor, about that, who said today's closure was a surprise to him, too.
I met with the operators just about 2 weeks ago. We spent several hours coming up with potential solutions and approaches. I think that was a good and productive conversation, but ultimately I know there are different challenges to how a grocery store can operate. Part of that challenge is that the city certainly has been happy to be a partner, but there's always a limit to what we will invest as well.
KSHB 41's Alyssa Jackson has done several reports on the store in the past month. She broke the news this morning and joins us live.
Alyssa, what are shoppers being told?
Well, Gian and Kevin, just like the mayor mentioned, it was a surprise to them, and it has been a surprise to everyone that has come to the Sunfresh today. I actually got a tip from a viewer about this sign that's on both of the doors that says, due to unforeseen circumstances beyond our control, we are no longer able to serve the residents of this important community. Now, those signs mark the closure of the Sunfresh this morning, and I believe I saw the last employee walk out and lock the doors just before 3 o'clock. Now, even though the community expected the store to close at some point, it did still come as abrupt to them and employees who showed up to work today. The Sunfresh has looked like this for weeks. Empty shelves and coolers and odor throughout the store. Most of the store only had processed food available for purchase. I'll tell you what we do know. The store's ownership, a nonprofit called Community Builders, had been losing a lot of revenue with more expenses than income from its 2023 tax filing. Its landlord is the city of Kansas City, which has poured at least $1 million of funding directly into the grocery store over the years. Right now, doors are locked. Sunfresh's sign is covered up. People in this neighborhood didn't just want the store to stick around. I met a man who said he regularly volunteers his own time to help the store out because it meant that much to him.
It's a bad feeling, going down like this, much as we try to save it, it's not working. I wish things could be different. Don't look like it's going to be today.
It was definitely a quick turn of events because I met with the city manager last week who told me that they are meeting with the owners of the Sunfresh to figure out a solution because they wanted to protect their investment, the city's investment, and the owners of the Sunfresh wanted to protect theirs. But it seems that in a week's time, there was no viable solution to keep it open. Gian and Kevin.
Alyssa, thank you so much. Well, this morning, Community Builders told Alyssa that they've retained legal counsel. The president and CEO shared a statement saying, in part, Community Builders of Kansas City has been vocal for years about concerns and fears with insurmountable challenges of the KC Sunfresh Midtown location. As of today, it can no longer serve residents from this location.
Yeah, so that was filed that under why am I not surprised, right? Because again, when they're trying something that hasn't been tried before, right? Apparently, nobody's ever tried to socialize a grocery store. Oh, wait. Every time someone tries to socialize a grocery store, this is what happens. Crime. People, the lady said it. People out here just drinking, partying, having relations out as a relation, out in the parking lot. But it's inequality. It's inequality. It's a food desert. It's this, it's that. Have you ever wondered why businesses don't want to do business in certain neighborhoods? But high crime is a deterrent because you're going to have to replace stock. Grocery stores are already on very thin profit margins. If you have high theft, you are taking a financial hit. If you are in a high crime neighborhood, you're going to have to get insurance. Your insurance premiums are going to be higher. That is less money in your pocket. You essentially would need to you would have to be Elon Musk and just say, you know what, I'm going to throw away this amount of money every year in order to put a couple of grocery stores in black neighborhoods. I'm just that rich. I don't care about money. Exactly. 1 to 2% profits. Exactly. That's the average. And so now you're putting your business, or you're already on tight profit margins. Now you have to worry about crime, theft, like crime outside, not even in the store. You've got to worry about crimes happening around the store, which deter people from coming to the store. You've got to worry about people stealing from the store. You're getting subsidized by the government and you still can't turn a profit. Thank you. I mean, it really is this simple. Y'all, people make it seem like it's rocket science. Like there's some, yeah, exactly. I'm going to get to this one too. That Marcus Odom just said something really intelligent as well. It's so common sense. But law-abiding citizens don't want to deal with that. That man who was volunteering, spending his time trying to give back to the community, he's saddened, yes. But what about the YNs that are committing the crimes? What about the people who are coming into the store and stealing from it, barren shelves? Why these people don't have any shame or honor or virtue? They don't care. And it's too many of them in the community, and they aren't being challenged or policed. The problem, and then people will say, well, if you talk about this, you're a sellout. The people who are committing the crimes, they're not going to be, no, watch. People in the comments are going to call me a sellout for talking about it. See, here's the crazy thing. I don't commit the crimes, but I'm the black sheep of the black community. I'm the black sheep. I'm the embarrassment. I'm the sellout. I'm the coon. Because I'm married to one woman, raising kids with that one woman, working from 8 to 8 p.m. to make sure that I can feed my family, doing this as like a little side thing to make a little extra money, a little change, right? Y'all know, right?
I just want some money.
I just want some money, right? I'm grifting. And I'm the problem with the black community. I'm the sellout. You have to love it. That the people who are committing the crimes, that are making the food desert the reality, because businesses don't want to operate around that type of behavior, they're not the problem. I'm the problem. Right? I'm the problem. Let me see that. Right? And Marcus Odom said armed security won't even be enough. You would need, if you wanted socialized medicine in that neighborhood, you'd have to have a line where one person goes in at a time, maybe two, but you'd have to be escorted with a guard. So that means you got to pay that guard to be with that person. You'd have to have multiple armed security guards at every entry point to make sure. And then you'd have to have a armed liaison that would take the people who've purchased everything that they purchased to their car. And if you wanted to be 100% certain, you'd have to give them an armed police escort back to their house to make sure that they got there safely. Now, how expensive would that be? If you want to operate a business in a neighborhood full of YNs. That's what you got to do. If you want to make sure. Or you could have done what the black community used to do, was train your children up in the way that they should go. And when they were old, they would not depart from it. But it's been multiple generations that the church, black church in particular, has failed to do that. Right? YN is a young ninja. Or ninja's the YouTube safe way of saying the N word. Right? There you go. All right. But unfortunately, right? Yeah. All right. So unfortunately, the black church, and I believe for the most part, has lost its lampstand because they won't even say, you got preachers that will not call this type of behavior out. I know some of them personally. They will not call this out. Their social justice, the problem is externals. It's the inequities and inequalities. Not that these people don't know how to make sound decisions. Yeah, and they do get paid for it. Yes, they do. They get paid not to say anything. You're right about that, right? get paid in influence and the like. But you have this continued pipeline of weak preachers standing in pulpits every week, getting hyped, sweating, yelling and screaming, coming back, and all of this other foolishness that they singing, while around them, crime, right? In their churches, fornication, adultery, homosexuality, gluttony, right? This is one that they'll never talk about. The obesity epidemic in the black community. Again, see, the problem is me talking about it. I'm the problem because I'm talking about it. I'm the problem. At 50 years old, not overweight, in decent shape, get up every morning, walk about 15,000 steps a day, 13 to 15,000 steps a day on average, eat well, take vitamins, supplements and the like, drink my water, do all this other stuff. I'm the problem. Raising my family, loving my wife, raising my family. I'm the problem with the black community. We homeschool our kids. All of them they're joining the musical composers, right? Classical music composition. They finished second place in competitions, not with other black people. These are like with real classical musicians who are being trained. They're placing amongst these children, pursuing excellence. I'm the problem. Me, guys. I'm the scourge of I'm the embarrassment of the black community. Black community is embarrassed by me.
You can't make this up.
Right? I'm the black community's biggest issue. And the thing is, Radical North is just what I saw my dad do. So I'm trying to do the same thing. I get it. And we're doing something. That's why the podcast exists, right? I'm trying to be an example to other black families. But here's what I find, and I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. When we tell there are black families who will ask us what we're doing, how we're able to accomplish the things that we're able to accomplish. And I tell them, if you don't believe the way that I believe, you won't make the changes that we made, because we used to be just like you. My wife and I have gotten on. We did a podcast together where we talked for almost 3 hours, where we talked about how we used to live, and then what we did to change our mindset. The first thing was we turned off the TV, got rid of it, put it up here. We said, nope, TV is being used to indoctrinate us, to make us dumb. So we're like, nah. And we just started reading and figuring things out. And the more we figured out, the more we started stripping away. So you just got to keep stripping away a lot of stuff that makes you dumb and that is designed to stop you from achieving and succeeding. We were just going about our daily business, like come home, do that. We were doing the same stuff. We had to take control of our diet, take control of our health, take control of everything we could take control of, strip away the things that were causing our family to flounder and fail, right? We recognized that our children were always sick, always runny nose. Well, then we realized, that's a lot of the body just trying to push out all the sugar. So there was all those blue juices and everything else that was causing them to, right? And so we just said, okay, we started doing that. Stop eating a lot of candy. Stop eating a lot of, and people ask us these questions and we will tell them everything that we've read. It has been a 12 to 13 year process of us figuring all of this out to get to the point where when people see us now, they say, hey man, your family, wow, your kids are respectful. They honor the elderly. They honor people that are around them. They're very articulate. They do these things. Like, wow, this is amazing. How did you do this? And then we go about telling them exactly what we did. And then most of the responses are, we ain't about to do all that. It don't take all that. Actually, yes, it does. It does take all of that. If you want to raise children who are excellent, you have to get away from mediocrity. You have to shun mediocrity. I tell people all the time, I say, well, look, my children are made to practice an hour and a half a day on music in a court. Well, an hour of music every day, depending on how many instruments they play, right? Along with their homeschool homework, along with keeping their rooms clean and everything else that goes along with that. And so they're like, well, how can your children play all these instruments? I'm like, well, because they're made to. It isn't an option for them. Music trains the brain. We recognize that. We realize that. We're like, oh, we're going to just make them play music because it's going to make their brains a lot better. Right. And so black community needs to change its mindset. I keep telling them, like, you have to change your mindset if you want to change the outcomes. So when I say Trump is going to save black America, I'm like, no, he really isn't. It's going to take a bunch of black men saying, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not going to live the lie of social justice and inequities and all these other things and the victim mentality and all this other garbage that is designed to keep you focused on everything out there and not this. What can I do? What can I do to change my situation? Because I can't change everything that goes on in the government. I can't change everything. I can't even change local government. Why would I try? I can vote and I can do it. But my work is done in the unseen hours, waking up every morning at 5 a.m., going to bed every night at 9:30, and making sure that I try to make my children's life easier than mine was, but also teaching them the value of hard work and the value of accomplishment and the value of the things that made America great, and having them recognize that they live in a country that affords them that opportunity. If I had them navel gazing every time they woke up in the morning saying, I'm black, I can't achieve nothing, everything's against me. No, I tell my daughter, hey, there's this lady who's Melody Bober. You play her pieces all the time. So we encouraged her. You're playing her pieces. Why don't you start writing your own? Because you could copyright your pieces and sell your music book and have residual income coming into your pocket at 10, 11 years old. So she's writing songs. So are my other two sons. They're composing classical music. They're composing music for the federation that they're a part of. So they're trying to earn money already. And I'm going to put the books together and help them to profit this early. Their music instructor said, I don't expect them to just be teachers. The way that their talent level, they're going to be internationally famous. And I was like, really? Oh, okay. So we had to change. My wife and I had to change our mindset when we heard that from a professional music instructor. We were like, really? You've seen great musicians. So you're thinking that our children are going to be that? Okay. So changing mindset. Trump won't save black America. Now, Trump can help us to get rid of some of the lawlessness, and because our Democrat politicians don't want to do that. They don't seem to want to protect the citizenry. So we may have to call upon the federal government to federalize, like D.C. I don't know if he can do that. I doubt that he can do that. He'd have to declare martial law. But our duty is to go about the day-to-day of changing our family dynamic and influencing the people around us, right? So we can help to save black America. Yeah, I know. So, yes. Yeah. Oh, right. I know. Right, Greg. Exactly. Thank you to everybody. He said, you're a sellout for saying the truth out loud. Right. I'm a racist bigot for saying the truth out loud. Right. I left Berkeley, California because I was tired of not being allowed to have an opinion. Exactly. Yeah. And unfortunately, we've got to get to the point where we say enough is enough. Black Americans have to say enough is enough. We can't abide with mayors like Cantrell. We can't abide with politicians like the Tiffany Henyards, like the Brandon Scotts, not Brandon Scott. Is it Brandon Scott? Yeah. What's his name? Brandon Scott? Is it Brandon Scott? Brandon Johnson, right? I don't know. One of these guys. Let's see. Which one is he? Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. This is the guy. This is one of the Brandon Johnson, right? Oh, man. This was funny when I heard this. Listen to this.
If since you are begging, I do believe that Donald Trump is intimidated. I think you're
Okay,
begging.
no interruption.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I would just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because, okay, fine, since you are.
So, again, when I ask this question, he says that he's always been afraid or intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. Did he say like him? Right? There are many, many intelligent, well thought out, well spoken black men in the world that produce great books and speeches, and Brandon Johnson ain't one of them people. He's
so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
Chicago's let's do this. Let's ask. Right? Let's do it real quick. We're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna do this. Why not? All right. Okay. Let's just now. I don't understand why he thinks that Trump has always been intimidated by. What about black men would make a billionaire like Donald Trump intimidated? I don't know. He the art of the deal and the like. What about men like Brandon Johnson would make Trump intimidated? I don't know. I don't understand it. Yeah. So look, art favorites. This is how I get paid. Look, super chats like this. People keep asking, right? Who am I? Thank you, brother Derek Franklin, and everyone who super chats. I appreciate you. That's who pays me. I mean, obviously, I get paid from other ventures because I'm a software developer by trade. I also teach music, et cetera, right? I do other things, but yes, yeah. No one's approached me yet to control what I say. I'm not that popular, so I just got 6,000 plus subscribers over the past month. So my channel's growing. You can help it out if you'd like. I'd appreciate that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, support, if you feel so led. Now, Chicago faces a projected $1.1 billion gap for 2026. To close it, Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration is evaluating a mix of spending cuts and new revenue measures. Plans include raising garbage fees, potentially $297 million, imposing a professional services tax up to $305 million, reinstating a head tax, $25.6 million, and asking nonprofits to make payments in lieu of taxes, $52 million. They essentially,
I just want some money.
They just want some money. They just want some money. That's it. Right? Desmond, that's one of the look, man, let me tell you something. I appreciate that more than you know. Because absolutely not a liberal, not at all. No, indeed. All right, thank you for subscribing. But let me get back to Desmond. Like, that's what my channel eventually was set out to be, right? I'm gaining traction because I discuss politics and the like. But if you look at the name of the podcast, the Developing Dad Podcast, that was supposed to be it. I was a software developer, and I'm also developing as a dad, and I want to take guys on a journey with me. But that's not really popular. People don't want to hear about that. But yes, man, if I could figure out a way to do more of that, because I was writing a book at one point, and yeah, it would if I had one thing that I would say, okay, that's the thing I want to be known for. It would be that, helping black men to recast the narrative. And again, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm willing to put the work in. And I think there are a lot of black men who are willing to put the work in. The hard thing for black men is finding a woman who wants to help you put the work in, because the culture doesn't really produce that many women who are willing to put the work in. Our black culture doesn't produce it. Black culture produces women who want to compete.
I'm a PhD.
Right? They want to compete with the black man for resources. They want to prove that they can do what black men do. And a lot of them
I just want some money.
Just want some money. I found one who wanted to help me, and praise the Lord. That's all I can say. Praise the Lord. Because I didn't have any special insight. I kind of knew what I wanted. She helped me to build a business. We built a business together. And in so doing, we figured out, yeah, you kind of looking kind of good. What's up? What's up? What's up? Right? And that's how it that's right. Right. And look, ghost. That used to be a truism. But today, you would be better off, just to be honest, not choosing a woman from the black church. I'm just going to say it. I got to say it, because it needs to be said. All right. Oh, perfect segue. Perfect segue into our next topic. Okay. Perfect segue into our next topic. Because people will say, right, find someone who believes in God. So this is going to be our next topic. Hold on one second. We're going to talk about this, because this young lady claims to believe in God. Now, we're going to go back to the beginning, the Sha'Carri Richardson saga. All right. Now, this is a video of Sha'Carri Richardson at the airport. So we're talking about the black community and black women, right? Specifically, find you one that believes in God. Sha'Carri talks about God. All right. So, perfect segue. Listen to this. About young men trying to find a good black woman, right? Because a lot of people will say, well, Sha'Carri can run. She's famous. She, right? She's famous. So, she's a good black woman. She's a good catch, right? This Sha'Carri, though, right here. In the, you see her right there? That's Christian Coleman, fellow track star athlete. Yeah. Right? She's hitting him. Right? Right? There's no sound on this video, but this is airport surveillance, right? Yeah. Exactly. Right? Because the Bible says even the demons believe and tremble. Right? The demons believe and tremble. Right? So she was going in on him, right? Yeah, she was caught on camera beating on Christian. Okay? He's like, leave me alone. Right? I mean, this. So after all of this, okay, she gets arrested. Right? Where's the arrest video? There it is. Now it's like 16 minutes long, but they're arresting her, and we'll just hit the beginning where she actually is we'll just
under arrest right now? What am I under arrest for? Christian, are you serious right now? Okay. You're arrested for assault 14. I didn't assault him though. We have video cameras. I literally we were having an argument. I'm not resisting, so you don't have to do it harder. Christian, are you serious right now?
So they're in Washington State. He doesn't get a say.
But I understand. We were arguing. But I understand entirely. We were arguing. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I had an argument with my boyfriend.
You know, feelings right now. I just want her to know the severity of like we're in the airport, chill out. She has my bag. I want to get my bag, and we're both going to the same place.
Are you seated together?
So we're staying together?
Yeah, seated together.
I'm not sure because we were supposed to be going a long time ago.
Okay.
And so now we're just sitting in the airport.
Are you guys having Is there rough patch in your relationship? What's going on, man? Okay.
So you see here, now she is on camera. They arrest her. She blames him for it. The police even tell her in Washington State, you get no say. He doesn't have a say. We saw the crime happen on camera. You're under arrest. Now, a lot of people will have, oh, Sha'Carri is a good catch. A world-class track athlete. That, black queen. Came, got it out the mud. Had her worst moment losing in the world championships. And it came back the next year and, won. It's a great catch, right? Well, this is unfortunately a problem in the black community. Because what does it actually mean to be right? Are you serious right now? Don't start, Derek. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble. Because if I start talking about the things that black men understand by that with the type of speech and the words that she was using, we all know, most black men know immediately when you're dealing with that type, you're like, oh, no. Mature black men are like, nope, well, I can listen to you talk and we're not going there. All right. So, yeah. That's funny. Wait, I got to deal with this one before you go, First Lady. That's funny. That is funny. Now, she says, I'm leaving the chat because this man is black. However, he is a black racist. They unfortunately do exist. Dude, embrace your culture. Your ignorance precedes your beliefs. Martin Luther King, right? See? No, look, that we just had it, right?
And you ain't black.
Then I ain't black, right? So this white people get to tell me how I should be as a black man. I should embrace my culture, right? Thank you, First Lady. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, I'm using this. Where's the brothers? Yeah, where is it? He was discussing. Oh man, let me find it. Yes. All right, Brother Caleb Collins, we're going to do that when we're going to bring yours up here. Well, the brother said you got to believe in God. Someone said you got to believe in God. Make sure if she believes in God. So we're making sure that she believes in God. That used to be good enough, right? Because it was assumed that the God of this nation was Christ, that as a black man, you knew that your woman or the woman that you were going to marry, if she was in church, there was a cultural expectation that she was supposed to be pursuing holiness years and generations ago. That isn't the case anymore. Most black churches are not teaching black women how to be wives, how to submit to a husband. They're telling them to,
I'm a PhD.
Go get your education, to,
I just want some money.
Get the bag, eschew marriage, don't have children. Virtually everything that the Bible teaches is good, beautiful, and true for women. The black church is telling them the exact opposite. And that's why, for black men, you actually would be wise to avoid women who are in black churches. Yes, I said it. You're not. So the return on investment for a woman who's in church, you're going to get the same returns as a woman who's outside of the church. But the problem is she's going to hold you to the standard of the Bible. She won't hold herself to that standard, though. See, she'll be able to invert the paradigm and be at the head. She'll fight you for supremacy. She is being trained to be a daughter of Eve and not a daughter of Christ. Catch the distinction. Eve ate the fruit and wanted to rule over over Adam. What does that sound like? Doesn't that sound like the black community, where the black women want to rule over the black men? Black women have had to get it out the mud because men ain't this. They ain't this. Now, I'm not saying that other churches don't teach that as well, But for the vast majority of black churches and black men, you got to go really hard to try to find a good one inside of the black church, because the pastors are not teaching that. And then you have the types who you bring home, right? And this is, my wife and I talk about this a lot because we grew up around this phenomenon as well, where black men didn't want anything to do with the church. Their wives would be in church, but they wouldn't be. Why? Because they recognized the grift. And we're talking about 60, 70, 80-year-old people at this point in time. Their husbands were like, nah, I recognize the grift. I don't want to be a part of any of this. And so this phenomenon has been growing, and it's getting exponentially worse because you have women, like women rule in the churches these days. Now, this is not specific to black churches, but it's acute in black churches. You can have male leadership and still be ruled by the women of the church. I've experienced this firsthand. When you say anything, perfect example, this podcast. The things that I say on this podcast get back to, or people watch it that we used to go to church with, they go and run and tell the pastor. The pastor doesn't affirm the things that I'm saying, which are absolutely true and verifiable. And the women in that church are actually doing some of the things, because only hit dogs holler. So some of the women are doing the things and they see themselves in the podcast. They go run and tell the pastor. The pastor tries to tell me about it. I have to cook him. I'm like, I said, well, hit dogs holler. I'm not about to stop saying true things. If you can refute the things that I'm saying, okay. If not, then do your job and tell those women that they're in the wrong, that they shouldn't be fornicating. They shouldn't be sleeping around with men yeah. Right? They shouldn't be doing these type of things. They shouldn't be trying to run or rule over men. Why is this? Why is this? This is Christianity 101. Why are you not willing to tell them that? Oh, because effeminized leadership can also be male. You can be afraid to check the women in the church because you're afraid of the blowback. Right? Right? Oh, Joda. So they're quick to tell men, right? They're quick to tell men, don't do that. Right? Don't do that. Don't sleep around. But they won't dive into any. You will never, very rarely, if ever, hear a pastor go hard on the sins of women. It's rare. Not in the evangelical church. And definitely not in the black church. Because they're afraid. They know that the women are the gatekeepers of sex. They're the gatekeepers of the black community, in that if you get enough of them coming at you, nagging you, coming at you, talking about, and if you got one in your house that's a feminist that you got to answer to when you go home, if you say something out of pocket, y'all think that doesn't actually happen in churches? What's going on, Brother Neil Moses? I know you've been in here, but yeah. Yeah. Y'all think that doesn't happen in churches? Right? All right. Multiple baby daddies all up in the front, like in relationships for multiple years, not married, but getting the chance to lead ministries and on leadership teams, making decisions for the church. right? Egalitarian. There's a reason why I've never been in a leadership position in most of these churches, but I garner influence. Why? I don't have to be in leadership to garner influence, because the works that I do speak for me. You can ask Caleb. Ask him. He's in the chat right now. Ask him. I don't need to be in leadership to garner influence, because the Bible says that the type of men that you should choose should be the type of men that are above reproach, that you can look at and say, oh, that man is, I don't need to run. I didn't need to run for leadership. Like, oh, I need to be, oh goodness, I need to be at the front. I need to be at the forefront. Ask Caleb. Caleb's in the chat. He'll tell you. He knows me in real life. Multiple people are in the chat probably. Let me go see if it's on Instagram. Anybody in the chat on Instagram? But there's a problem in the church when you start to speak openly and about sins that people are committing that are not being addressed by the elder board, that are not being addressed, and because we know that if you believe the Bible, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. And once women see that you're a cuck and that you won't stand firm, guess what is going to invite? More women in the church that see you as a cuck, that are not going to want to conform. And then what happens is you get more of that. And then these women will start blaming you. They'll start blaming you like, wait a minute. Why aren't there any men here that I can marry? And my wife told a couple of them, she was like, what she said. She said, well, if you want to get married, you should probably make yourself wife material. Why would a man want to marry you if you're not wife material here? I don't understand that. Like, what man would want to marry a competitor? No, men want to marry a helper. Yeah. So, appreciate your new subscriber, Dimitri. Yes. And so, we need to, I'm tying it back into Sha'Carri. You have to be willing as a black man to say, okay, look, if this is the best that the black community has to offer, if it's not a suitable helper, why am I wasting my time with it? Why am I wasting my time pursuing someone? And that just men. That means you've got to control your eggplant. I know it's going to be hard. Y'all got to figure out, man, look, I can't let my little head think from a big head. I've got to find a woman that fits the criteria of Proverbs 31. I've even heard pastors say that Proverbs 31 isn't a goal for women. Like, what are you talking about? That women shouldn't be trying to be a Proverbs 31 woman. What? That's insane. So women have no standard, but men have every standard. So you're saying it's easier to be a Proverbs 31 woman than it is for men in the Bible to say, they say, love your wife like Christ loved the church. Like, we don't have Christ loved the church perfectly, but it's too hard for them to be a 31 woman. So I got to love you perfectly like Christ loved the church. This is what I'm talking about. We get this all the time in churches. We get pastors telling men that we need to step up and do everything right. But then we also get them telling us that women don't have a standard. That Proverbs 31, that's a yoke too heavy for women to bear. You telling me that the yoke of loving my wife perfectly like Christ is not a yoke? What are you talking about? And Jesus says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Are y'all serious? That's why these pastors are not even worth listening to. I mean, read your Bible and find some good theology online. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. Some of these guys are compromised. And you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at the ones that are compromised by their wives and by the women around them. Yeah, exactly. This is insane. Right? Yeah. What's going on, brother Derek Franklin? You keeping this live stream going, brother. Every super chat it's adding more time. All right. She said, if you want to know if she's wife material, ask her how she feels about submission to her husband. Brother Derek Franklin, I have a list of questions that I'm workshopping a video on, some questions that you can ask that will immediately, you could ask just one of them and immediately discern whether or not she's the woman for you. Right? Yeah. That's one of them, though. Like taking the last name, that's one in this day and age. Are you willing to are you willing to be identified with me, coming into my family and producing children for my line? Right? Willing to take the last name, because people don't understand the taking of the last name in American culture means something. There was a reason why they put that in there, right? That's the custom. Are you willing to be identified with my headship and create children for my line? Now we've inverted the paradigm that the mother is the primary custodial parent in divorce. That is calling evil good and good evil. We've completely lost the plot. That's one thing, right? No hyphenated last names. No. We're not doing that. If you see, I'm just saying. Yeah. Right? That was one of the taking of the last name. You don't even have to go into ask her how many children she'd like. If it's any before you even get to the number, right? If she starts talking about the expense and how I don't want any children because it's expensive, or how can I bring children into this evil and this world, and it was like, whoa, hold on. Somebody brought you into this evil world, right? This evil and crazy world, and you haven't offed yourself, so you're obviously not that bad off. So you don't think you could make your children's life better? Why won't you think about how you can improve the lot of the next generation? Are you going to be willing to help me to do that? Just so many easy. What's going on, Kevin T? So many easy questions that you could ask, and they're all centered around male headship and the like. Now, let's look at this video of Sha'Carri Richardson's apology, because this is the kind of stuff that black men have to deal with, and it's not just her. This is her apologizing for beating on him, and watch her body language.
Hey y'all, it's Sha'Carri, and more than anything, definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation, but somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for as well, is something that holding myself accountable. I see myself, I'm taking this time to not only see myself, but get myself a certain level of help that overall is going to reflect who I truly am in my heart and my spirit, and not allowing this moment, but accepting this moment to be more. And so my only thing is I want to be more, not even just for myself, for my family, for my fans, and overly appreciate y'all supporting me and showing up and even holding me accountable to being my best self. So more than anything, I refuse to my family, for my fans, and overly appreciate y'all supporting me and showing up and even holding me accountable to being my best self. So more than anything, I refuse to run away, but not refuse to run, but I refuse to run away, but face everything that comes to me head on, because everything on the other side is greater, but you got to go through in order to get there. So I'm Sha'Carri, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and one love, much love, and y'all be blessed.
I mean, the brothers in the comments said it. I am not a psychologist. I can't diagnose narcissism. I just know that when I see this apology video, nothing about it screams like they were taking screen captures of her face. Right. That's what I wanted. Yeah, is that the common? Because her speech pattern and would be an immediate turn off to me. We have that here in New Orleans, and when I hear a certain type of voice, you can connect that to a certain type of upbringing and attitude. You may not be able to do it 100% of the time, but you can connect the certain speech pattern to a certain upbringing and avoid that type of woman. Just run. Just by listening to them speak. Every time I hear her being interviewed, it reeks of toxic. It's like toxicity just spewing out of her mouth. And this is no different. Yes. Because at one point, didn't she have a girlfriend? So the amount of confusion going on in this woman's mind is unbelievable. Like you just can't.
You can't make this up.
And this is, look, brother, this is what people say, right? Right? As black men, you got to start recognizing that. I mean, I don't think she's attractive at all. That's my personal preference. I don't find her attractive. But look, some of y'all like this. Some of y'all like the Sha'Carri body style. But you gotta say, nope, I will not. If I hear this, if I hear that mouth, if I see this body language, if I see this, no, I don't. You got to run, right? What did he say? Where he said it, brother? Right. Marcus Odom said it. You got to run. But the problem is she too fast. She gonna catch you. She gonna catch you. Right. But my goodness, y'all got to stop. Yeah, brothers, I would say this because I'm saying this y'all, but not in a dismissive coming at you kind of way. I'm saying this because I'm married and I don't have any dog in this fight. Like Sha'Carri, me being attracted to Sha'Carri doesn't even matter. I'm not, but it doesn't matter because I'm married and I'm perfectly happy with my wife. So I'm like, okay, but you brothers that are not married, it is so critical for you all to avoid thinking with your. And even if you are attracted to her, you got to recognize how toxic she is and avoid her at all, and her kind at all costs. Not just her, because most of y'all won't ever be in a situation to date her, but her kind. That aggressive, manly, mouthy, man. And so over the years, I've trained myself to avoid it and to be completely turned off by it, not in a sexual sense, but just I don't even want to be around people like that. And I've avoided being around people like that. I may have to deal with that type at church, not anymore, but in the churches that we would attend, you have to deal with that. Well, what did we do? We got out of those churches because church is supposed to be about the Lord Jesus Christ, and it's about people who you're like-minded with. And yes, I do have the full video, Brother Derek Franklin. I do. I'll put the link in the chat. But you have to get away from those type of people at all cost. So that's what we did. And I don't have any regrets, because that meant we had to leave the black church. So that I don't want to be around people like this, because the black church affirms people like this. There are bishops and pastors and preachers who will affirm her, who will affirm the Sha'Carri Richardsons of the world, not the track star, but the type of woman that she is. And they litter black churches. I did videos about this, right? Where you've got to just avoid it at all costs. And this is, for me, it was for the sake of my children. I didn't want them. Yeah, I didn't want them to have to deal with this type of attitude on the regular. I know I hated dealing with it growing up, and so I didn't want them to have to deal with it. Right? He said, "I bet the singing was less." Here's the thing. Now, this is he makes a great point, and I don't know if he's making this point, but I also know that this is something that people say. I can't leave the black church because I need the singing and the like, right? So the idea is you have to sacrifice for the music, because you want the good music, all right? You be blessed, Brother Caleb. Yes, right? And the singing may not be as good, right? Some people think that singing is not as good, but it doesn't really. I would much rather. I'm gonna make this point, and then I'll probably be done for the night. I'm going to make the point after I make this statement. The singing is a part of the worship, right? The worship of the Lord. You want to sing songs that honor God. But the problem with too much of black church, I'm trying to find this one video that I did about a year or two ago. Reaction number 1. Where is this girl? I'm trying to find this video and I'm vamping it. Yay! Perfect. Per you win. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to show this video in a second. But not this one. This one. Okay. All right. So you think, okay, I want the music. I need the music. But you're sacrificing godly living, holy living for a music style. And ultimately, you're going to pay the price for that. There's a price to be paid for ignoring godly living in order to stick with a preaching style or music style, right? And so it's really frustrating. Yes, you may like that music style, but I hate fornication, adultery, feminism, and the like more than I love that music. That's the issue. What's going on? Dame S, thank you for the super chat. My first super chat ever. Oh, come on, brother. I appreciate you. All right. Your Christian black women from the church, yeah, it's spot on. I almost hate to admit it. 10 years married now and divorced. Oh, man, last name issue, leadership struggles, etc. Yeah. I mean, the little things that people think are insignificant go a long way to determining the success and failure of a marriage. My wife wanted to take my last name. My wife wanted to name our son after me because of legacy. She wanted to keep my legacy going. This was insane to me. I was like, oh, you seem like you really want to help me with everything. I should probably marry you. I don't find this any and everywhere. I should probably marry you. You're marriage material. And so that was for me, that was amazing. And Dame's situation, sorry to hear that. that's the hard reality for so many black men, is that you don't get the return on investment for finding a quote unquote Christian woman. You go to the church and the problem is they're just like the world, but then you actually have to uphold the godly standard. The pastor's going to be coming at you. But then you got to listen to your wife say, well, pastor say it. So you're not even the leader of your own home, because the pastor has more influence over your wife than you do. And then if you're in a situation where you need counsel, guess what? The pastor's going to be more amenable and more focused on your wife's needs than yours. So why would you even go to him? It's just a vicious cycle of nonsense that goes on in the black church. And we're like, well, I'm not going to keep doing this. This is dumb. I would be an idiot to keep coming here just for the music. If the return on investment is, I got to give you all my money, I got to give you 10%, but I get nothing in return. Oh, I get a football camp, vacation Bible school. What? Oh, the music is cold. Okay, so what? That's not helping me. That's not helping me in my day-to-day to actually live out Christianity. Give me something practical. You want all my money, but you won't give me nothing. Not a thing. You won't give me anything that I can hold on to and say, yes, this is Christianity. I can walk this out. My wife is going to be faithful to me. You're going to hold her accountable and hold both of us accountable, not just her or not just me. Or yeah, it's just so you'd never see me again, ever again, darkening the doorstep of a black church, ever. If it's majority black or black led, like Protestant evangelical majority black led, you're never going to see me there again. Never. And I'm telling my sons, same thing. Right. Faithful, feminine, friendly, and fit women. There it is. There it is. Both my wife and I, people say, when they find out that my wife has had 5 kids, they're like, what? Smaller than women who've never had any kids. And my wife gets up every morning, both of us at 5 o'clock. She works out, I work out. Before the kids get up. We both doing strength training, stretching, Pilates, and the like. Because we know we got to take care of this body. We only get one. But this is what you can expect from churches. Listen, let's listen in. I did this video. I forget when it was. When was this video? A year ago, June 29th, 2024. Listen to this. So this is what's going to church. No shame. Memo.
I just want to say, I know that I'm going to church, y'all, but look at my church fit. Look at that. Ain't God good? Because y'all know y'all can see the wagon from the front, and I'm going into the house of the Lord, but God made me like this. It ain't me. Y'all, look. The shoes, everything is 10, except for the water. That's pink, of course, but listen, God make them how you make them, okay? Do what you do. It ain't up to me. It's up to you. I don't know.
Let not with the septum ring, the glasses, the wagon from the front, the pink water bottle, the fit, the shoes, the tan, everything working. She going in the house of the Lord. Whose gaze is she after? This is not abnormal either. She just happened to put it online. Ask Moses. Ask Moses. Because he goes to church. They come to church. Yeah. They going to church dealing with these women. Yeah. Right. Oh, Amber got it. Oh, Amber. Don't get me started on that now. You about to get me started now. I always get in trouble when I start talking about that. I know. When we start talking about eschatology and Zionism and preterism and futurism. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't understand why so many people want to be deceived. And then why black preachers think that black men would actually want to come to a church where this is what they have to look forward. Black men are coming to church to find a virtuous woman who is willing to get on their program and someone who has some godly characteristics. And they come there and they get septum ring baby mamas, 304s, boss chicks, PhDs. This is what they get. But they also get that plus all the censure and expectations that are supposed to be Christian men. You better be a Christian. Now she ain't got to be one, and you better not say nothing. You better not judge, because she has so much trauma to deal with. And y'all changed the definition of trauma to just be, this is regular life. What do you mean? She's had to live regular life, ups and downs. That's trauma now? Because you devalue what actually is traumatic when you make everything trauma. Oh, I had trauma. What do you mean? You didn't get a job you wanted? What is that? What are you talking about? What define trauma? Because a lot of times it's just, oh, you just lived, you didn't get everything you wanted when you wanted it. Oh, that's trauma. I don't know what y'all mean by trauma. My baby daddy was not an upstanding gentleman. Oh, newsflash. Men who would sleep with you outside of the covenant bonds of marriage probably aren't the most trustworthy. Oh, newsflash. Well, you laid with him too. I mean, just when you start peeling back the stuff that these people complain about and they place it under the umbrella of trauma, it's like, no, you're really making light of people who actually experience real trauma. And this is what black men have to deal with going to churches. And the thing is, she's actually somewhat fit. Don't even get started on the obesity epidemic. So yeah, if black pastors won't say anything and they start promoting, or they're unwilling to call out the Sha'Carri Richardsons or the whatever iteration you have of black women that seem to want to just be completely uncontrollable, intractable, and then they rise up to certain levels. They become like the LaToya Cantrells, who we talked about at the beginning, the mayor of New Orleans, who was under federal indictment. It all just fits together, the narrative. And then, again, going back to the original point, this is what my wife and I talked about, and it was kind of the impetus for this video. Because we've been talking about the even when I'm not producing, my wife and I having the same conversations that I have when I come on this camera. We're always talking about this kind of stuff. But one of the things that I discussed with her, and I'm gonna change this to real quick. Change this to, instead of Sha'Carri, we're gonna be on soapbox for a second. Let me go to soapbox and we'll finish up. My wife and I talked about it because people will come on to the channel and talk about how, Uncle Tom, Coon, sellout, et cetera, right? And they fail to point out the reality that for black people, young black men who want to get married, black families like mine, and black women who want to get married as well, but black people who want to do the right thing, do the traditional thing that black families did for generations. The black community has sold us out. They flipped the script and they call us sellouts because we call out the ratchet behavior and the nonsense that goes on in the black community and has been allowed to go on for generations, eroding the foundational necessities that allow us, like young black men, to get married, young black families to grow, prosper, and succeed. They've created this culture that demonizes success. They've created a culture that demonizes anyone that does not go along with the prevailing narrative. So when you're black and you want to stick around and stay in the black community, but you want to succeed and do things that are countercultural to black community, you're essentially having to go against the grain, right? And it's always easier to go along with the majority. That's why most black people don't say anything about these types of things. It's easier to just go along with the majority. But to swim upstream or to fight against or go against the community standards, it's always harder. That's why my wife and I are always talking about it. To do what we're doing in our home, it's harder because the black community has sold us out. It makes it harder for us to do what we're trying to do, to pursue excellence. When you have people who are openly hostile, and not openly, but covertly hostile to you, slandering you behind your back, and then the news gets back to you, and then you go back and you go to those people and you confront them and they deny it, but then you bring the second witness and the witness says it, and then they cower. So we've had all of these things happen to us while we're trying to live out godly principles. The black community has sold us out, and it's sold out so many young black people who are trying to do what is right. Now, I don't consider myself young. I'm middle-aged. I'm almost 50. But it's a sad reality that the black community, which wants our greatness, because when my kids, like, this is one, I'm going to show y'all this video. Yeah, I do take it. Yeah, we take it as a compliment, but it's also, it's not easy, right, to deal with. We still have to deal. We're still human, right? We have to fight through it. But look at this young man here. He reminds me of my son. Actually, my sons. But this young man here reminds me of my sons. Now, this young man is from the UK. But I show these types of videos to my kids and say, hey, look, this is where you could be headed. This is what you could be doing. You could actually, you're on this track. So keep pursuing it. Keep doing the things that you're doing. Where my son can do things like this, right? Right. Now, the reason why I'm not showing y'all any of my son's compositions is because he doesn't want them to be made public yet. But he's writing songs like this. 15. He just turned 15. So that's right. This is the standard, right? This is the standard. Now, there are people who openly despise my son in his age range. Black kids, because of jealousy. And so we had to get our kids out of that toxic environment where they're being hated for their ability to do things like this. And so the black community has failed my family, which is why I don't care if they care about what I say about them. They don't care about me. They don't care about my family. They haven't created the kind of community that would see my sons and daughters being able to do this and say, wow, we want to support you and praise you for the things that you're doing. No, they praise mediocrity because excellence scares them. For the most part. Now, when you find black people that are about excellence, you're like, wow, yes, let's be around you. Yes, come on, let's get together and make this happen. But make no mistake about it. The vast majority are not about that. And so you have to pursue excellence in direct opposition to people who want you to fail so that they can point to you and say, I see y'all doing too much. And y'all doing, yeah. And I'm not going to keep my kids around that horrible community. So, yes, when people say, "Oh, you selling out," well, okay, well, I mean, y'all sold me out first. Then y'all haven't created a community that would create that would help me to do this. Y'all actually want to make it harder for us to accomplish this, right? Let me ask you, how am I playing the victim? By walking away from the community? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know. So I'm about to head out. Yes. All right, but I appreciate everybody for hanging out for all this time. Guys, it's amazing. It's been amazing. Yeah, let me know. How am I playing the victim? I don't know. By doing what's best for my family? I don't know. Maybe you have some insight. Oh, no. Hold on. Wait a minute. I gotta post it. I gotta respond to that. Hold on a second. This is a show lead in. He says, all right, stay in it and be an example. Here we go. I was about to say. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, whoa. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, man, whoa, yeah, because the Bible tells me to do the exact opposite of that. I was like, bad company corrupts good morals. And I can't sacrifice my family. Yeah. I can't sacrifice my family for, yeah. Yeah, no, we bounced out of that. Yeah. We bounced out of that mess. Right. Yeah. 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 Right. That's it. Exactly, Brother Derek Franklin. That's exactly what it was, right? That's exactly what it boiled down to. They couldn't stop what we were doing. We, did so many things, but they tried to control the perception of who we were, what we were about. And so eventually we just realized that it was time to move on. Yeah, we couldn't just stick around. So we're not going to allow the bad company of mediocrity to destroy, the character. Yeah, we're not interested. We were not interested in that, right? So that was it for the soapbox, right? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you to all the super chats. All right, Derek Franklin, Steve H, and Dame S. Gentlemen, I appreciate you all. Thank you to everybody that commented. Trolls, you are also welcome. Supporters, welcome. Yes. Controls, you keep the engagement up as well. That's why I don't block anybody. So keep it up, trolls. I appreciate you. Call me all the names you want in the comments, right? Yeah. It just makes it. Yes. Thank you. We'll see. I appreciate you. We'll see, right? We'll see. I like that. All right. Until next time. Good night, everybody. Be on the alert. Oh, thank you too, bro. I love you too, brother. Stank Brown. That's an interesting hour. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Derek Franklin. I appreciate you. You know, you got, yeah. Brother Derek Franklin is the man. All right. Yes. Yeah. I mean, look, cake, and I'll finish with this. Cake, there it is. Right? Some people may want to stick around and fight that battle. I look at it as a losing battle. I'm going to worry about my family and my legacy and my line, and be around people that agree with me ideologically, whether they be black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever. Right? So I'm not about to die for the black community. It ain't worth it. I learned they don't care about me. So they don't care about me. Yeah. They've already proven that they don't care about me. So I'm not about to die for them. That'd be crazy. Absolutely insane. Yeah. Like they dogged me out since I can remember, since like kindergarten. Now I just finally said enough is enough. Y'all do what y'all want to do. Y'all gonna be y'all, right? It's not right. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Yes. Yes, yes, who doesn't like to be around people that agree with them? No, I'm not saying that are the only people, but when push comes to shove, yeah. Yes, indeed. I want to be around ideas because we can build together. That's it, right? That's it, right? That's it. We want to make that, right? Yeah. Oh, yes, they are. Yes. And I'm gonna let them go over there and hate and do that by themselves. For the vast majority of people's lives, they don't want to have to deal with that. But Cake, let me explain to you something. I noticed it's something we believe, like in the black community. The black community believes, and we're gonna go back real quick. I gotta because she made something that was just a great point. The black community believes that they own us, right? That they own us, and the idea that we have to deal with all of the negative BS, the toxic behavior, all of that godless stuff, because that makes us authentic. That makes us truly black. And I'm like, man, that Desmond said it. That's the exact opposite of what the Bible teaches. Paul was like, look, I love Jews. He said, but my kinsmen according to the flesh. He said, but they got some problems. And I'm going to be around Christians. Now I'm going to try to save them. I'm going to preach to them. But he wanted to be around people that believed Christ. It's the same energy I'm about. Yeah, I'd love to see black people saved. But at the end of the day, I'm not about to subject my family to that. I hated growing up in it. So I'm not going to subject my children to it. I would have been a better man had I not endured that experience and would have been able to come to certain positions a lot faster without having to be subjected during my formative years to that toxic energy around me all the time. I hated that growing up. Yeah, I know you do, and I get it. I'm just trying to make my point, right? Oh yes, that's okay. So we're on the same page, right? The ones who, people who want to do something outside of that norm, that experience, I'm all for it. But those are the people I'm saying we're going to be around. We're going to come around one another. We're going to find each other through networking and the like. But it's just, I ain't trying to be around them ones that don't want to do what's right. Yeah, right. That's what Brother Derek Franklin said. Yeah, don't go down with the ship. I ain't trying to go down with the ship. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, y'all. So we came to understanding. Thank you, Cake, and thank you, Brother Derek Franklin. All right, we're gonna leave it at that. Till next time. Be on the alert. Stand firm in the faith. Oh, sorry. Let me get Cake. Thank you to everybody that liked, commented, subscribed, supported. Till next time, be on the alert. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong. See y'all around. Bye.